Like several people in his age group, Mark Stout enjoys tending to his garden. There's only one small difference. He is blind, but he doesn't let that get in the way.
Then I have things like rosemary and all the other mixtures are here. And as you can see, I'm going to have some lettuce to disperse sometime. And whatever I grow, I give to my neighbors.
And he doesn't need any help feeding the birds.
Okay, okay. You do this by carrots feeding. Right, so that's what I'll do. I was going blind and not even realizing I was going blind. And over a period of time, the right eye had gone, and I didn't even know. I had had a cataract operation not done overseas, so I thought that that was the problem, but it was not the problem. Having come back, and I started to umpire cricket again, because I left umpiring to do that, and I came back. I still was not seeing as well as I ought to. By that time, I was out of school. I was retired. And cricket was just what I was doing. I was umpiring cricket on Saturdays in the BCA competition. So I recognized then what would have happened is that I made the elementary mistake of calling a white ball from the body of a batsman. So anytime an umpire does that, that is a cardinal sin. So obviously you're not seeing. So when I had then retired to the specialist, he had looked at me and he got the impression I had waited too late to come to him. This condition, this eye condition, glaucoma, as he put it, was the thief of the night. It can come to you. You can see in the daytime, go to bed, and the next morning you're not seeing. So that is what happened to me. I did not really pay careful attention to the cloudiness and so forth that I would have had. And having had the operation, I got the impression that that would have gone away, and I would have been back seeing. But then I learned then from my family that this was something quite generic, and it came from my father's side, because my father would have had 6 brothers. There were 7 boys, and I think 2 of them went blind, or 3 of them went blind, and they all had eye problems. It's the same glaucoma. Might not have been back in those days diagnosed as, because this seems to be a new word to us. Just as we have all these new mosquito-borne diseases now with the fancy names. I think glaucoma was not really recognized and called at that time. So the specialist gets the impression, the ophthalmologist, that what would have happened is that the gene had been passed on to this side of the family. And my father had 3 children. My sister, she is glaucoma. She has an eye condition. She was living in London for over 42 years, but she worked as a nurse. So she was able to deal with that out there. Richard Stoute, the entertainer, he's the middleman. So he didn't seem to get it at all. The way you have the gene, like it skipped the generation and came straight to me. And I have it, and it manifested itself, and here I am without any vision.
At first, Mark felt really conscious about being around others and preferred to remain at home. Even though he was taught how to walk with a cane, how to adjust his clothes, and do household chores, he still had a hard time adjusting to blindness. Eventually, he was introduced to the Center for the Blind and Deaf, where he was able to socialize with others and be a part of the academics and technology programs, which would have received assistance from the Ministry of Education.
Full stop at the end, or the comma at the end, or the exclamation mark, that's a soft line, a soft broken line. So we do break lines as we write. Mrs. Pyle, the first principal of Common School, the late Mrs. Pyle, had organized a meeting with the board, and we thought that we could introduce an academic program there. And it got started. Started with just 6 persons and just one subject. And I did the subject, English. And in just 6 months or so, not even a year or 2 years or so, we were able to get grade 1s and grade 2s from people who, at that time, had never written a straight sentence in their entire lives, who did not know anything about Mark Twain or Shakespeare or anything. So in that light, would have heard about him, but they could not have read his books. Further adjustment came when we looked to see what technology can do for us. And we have Mr. Elvis Maloney. He's, he's the father, I say the father of the workshop. He can do everything. And he was responsible for the IT classes there. So we all got involved, and he's making sure that all individuals come into the center get some sort of IT training. So that was part of the beginning. There was Braille to be done too as well, but the information technology is what we concentrated on. We use that, and that helped a lot of the students because they were able to use the program in the computer and answer the questions by virtue of typing the answers and then having them printed.
There's a special software called Job Access with Speech, or JAWS, which is useful for the visually impaired.
We could call out the keys so we know where they are, you know, so that when you have to write the words and so forth, they come up and you space. So it tells you everything, you know, when you hit the keys.
F3.
So you can print an email here and then have it read back to you and everything. See? One of my lifetime goals now is to see a greater stability of the disabled community, where we become so integrated into society. We are having people who are coming out now with their academic qualifications. We have people with degrees who are home because nobody is employing them, simply because they might see them as a problem in the workplace. But we are ready to do work. You know, I'm out there teaching, and we are getting the students coming in. They're not just doing English now, they are doing business studies as well. We have students out there who have passed the BIMAC diploma course, 5 of them to be exact. But nobody's looking at them.
This visually impaired student got full marks for her poetry.
As a disabled woman in this society, there's a particular stigma attached to me. They think I should want for nothing more than food, clothing, and shelter. They can't understand the necessity to have a home and family, to be a mother, to be a wife, to get the most fulfillment from life. And why should I need a career when there's social services out there for persons who are just like me or anyone with a disability? I must never venture out alone, never have an opinion of my own, only speak when spoken to, and always be told what I should do. But to all skeptics out there, hear my message loud and clear. This is what I have to say. Disabled people are here to stay. We disabled people have aims and goals and are determined to fulfill these roles, to strive for them with all our might and never ever give up the fight. We claim the right for equal opportunities, for equal jobs and salaries. We claim the right for equal promotion and equal access. We also claim equal transportation. We claim the right for equal education, equal access to communication, equal consideration when planning buildings, and please think of us when placing street lightings. For the blind, visual, or hearing impaired, with limited mobility or in a wheelchair, we all have to play our part. I'll tell you a good place to start. Always show pride in the life that you live. Hold your head up and be positive. Embrace the things you can't prevent and always give 100%. We reserve the right to be productive members of society. It's time to stop the discrimination. Time to stamp out segregation. Remember, when God created man, we were part of his master plan. We're all equal in his sight. He made us all with the same right. So, disabled people everywhere, keep your head high in the air. Our day is about to come. There are better things on our horizon.
There are over 30,000 registered disabled persons in Barbados. Mr. Stoute is calling for the various agencies to come together to form one body for disabled persons where they can assist each other with job opportunities and other ventures.
If you had a vibrant organization and each one was able to subscribe to it, I believe it would make an effort. We could buy our own medication. We can ease the government when it comes to that. You know, we can set up little institutions where small things can be done. We can work and liaison with some of the doctors and so forth, and have an institute where some of our disabled people can go there and be treated, you know, that kind of thing. So it's a long-term plan, over another 50 years, perhaps, but I may not be here, but that is one of my projections. Somebody might think it's a utopic kind of situation. I don't think it is. And one of the other things I would really love to see too is the whites and the Indians and all the ethnic groups coming as one. Because right now, if you go to any of the organizations that we have in the disability community, you will see only black people. And I know that white people must be blind too, and they must be disabled, Indians too, and so forth, but we don't have them in our organization. And I wonder why, especially in our 50th year of independence. Can they not come out and help us? Somebody told me that they are able to sustain themselves, which means perhaps that they have the finance. We can do that. So join us.
We welcome your feedback on our programs. You may email your comments to bgisfeedback@barbados.gov.bb. You may also view our website at www.gisbarbados.gov.bb or subscribe to our YouTube channel, the BGIS.